morning, friends. Today we are starting with the pollution section, and today we'll be finishing air pollution. Anything that we wanted to cover for air pollution is more or less here in this section in this booklet. Okay, now in air pollution, first thing that perhaps we are all aware of is that India is among the worst countries when it comes to air pollution. In fact, we'll look at several reports. One such report that we'll look at today is World Air Quality Report. According to this World Air Quality Report, India is the third most polluted country in the world. And in terms of number of cities, Delhi is the most polluted capital in the world. And overall, out of 30 most polluted cities in the world, 22 are in India. This will tell you the extent of pollution that's there in India. Now, there can be many sources of pollution. Transportation is there, industry is there, uh, fossil fuel burning, energy sector, all those are different sources of pollution. But the in recently a lot the source that has been discussed a lot has been the agriculture burning and stubble burning. So we'll look at all these sectors separately in detail. Now when we talk about pollution, air pollution, it is addition of certain things in the air which is harmful. For example, carbon monoxide. If carbon monoxide is there in the air and if we breathe it, it causes some breathing issues to us. It is a pollutant. Carbon dioxide, is it a air pollutant? No. Carbon dioxide is naturally available in the air, but when its amount increases a lot, then it starts creating greenhouse effect, and then it becomes a source of climate change and thus become a cause of concern. But when we talk about pollution, air pollution, we talk about carbon monoxide, we talk about various nitrogen oxides, we talk about sulfur oxide, we talk about particulate matters, particulate matter of 10 micrometer, particulate matter 2.5, PM 2.5, PM 10. These are certain air pollutants. Other than this, things like lead vapors being there in the air, mercury vapors being there in the air, ammonia. You know that ammonia gives you that very pungent smell and is harmful, is irritating when you breathe in ammonia. That is a pollutant. Benzene. If you go to places like petrol pumps, near petrol pumps, the concentration of benzene in the air is too high. Like when you breathe in, you can feel some problem there. So benzene is an air pollutant. So I say there are lots of air pollutants. We'll talk about different air pollutants which are being tracked by Air Quality Index, which are being tracked by Central Pollution Control Board. There you'll understand what are the important air pollutants that we have. Now, uh, the most dangerous and most harmful air pollutant is particulate matter 2.5. We would see that abhi we were talking about this report. We'll study this report in more detail in today's class only, World Air Quality Report. You would see that the focus of most of these reports is PM 2.5 only. They're only measuring PM 2.5. They're only categorizing countries based on PM 2.5 because it is the most harmful one. So what is particulate matter 2.5? Particulate matter 2.5 are particulates in the air whose size is up to 2.5 microns or 2.5 micrometer. And now if you want to understand how much is 2.5 micrometer, like a human hair is generally of 60 micrometer. On an average, its diameter, its radius ka 2 times is 60 micrometer. Its diameter is 60 micrometer. Whereas particulate matter 10, its diameter is 10 micrometer. Particulate matter 2.5, its diameter is 2.5 micrometer. So this will give you an idea that your hair is 60 micrometer, the particulate matter 2.5 is less than 1/20th of your hair size. And these small particles float in the air, and when you breathe in, they get into your lungs, and they are so small that they may also go into your bloodstream, and thus are highly dangerous. If particulate matter size is higher, the filtration mechanism in your body, your nose, your lungs, they will filter those things out. But when it's so small, PM 2.5 is so small that it becomes very dangerous. Now, according to World Health Organization, the safe limit of PM 2.5, how much of PM 2.5 can be in air and that's okay, is 10 micrograms, 10 micrograms per meter cube. So, in a meter cube of volume of air, maximum of up to 10 microgram of particulate matter should be there. More than that, if it is more than that, then the air is harmful to breathe. Now, you would be amazed to know that this is the standard which WHO sets. 10 micrograms per meter cube is the standard which WHO sets. But in India, what is the standard? What is the Central Pollution Control Board has set the standard for good acceptable limit of PM 2.5? It's 6 times of this. They say that 60 microgram per meter cube. Up to this, if we have PM 2.5, that's okay. Our standards are much lower, and even we are not even able to meet our own standards. Forget WHO standards. But please note this carefully. WHO says that the particulate matter 2.5 maximum could be 10 microgram per meter cube. Particulate matter, the CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board, says that particulate matter maximum can be 60 microgram in the air, which is okay, which is healthy. Now, what are main sources of particulate matter? 2.5. So, देखो, anything which burns will have some particles there. They are all sources of particulate matter. Even dust is a source of particulate matter. So, in exam, if a question is asked, which of the following is a source of particulate matter pollution? Choose all of them. Because anything you are burning, it would lead to some particulate matter being emitted. So, here you would see fossil fuel, power generation, or like fossil fuel burn ho raha hai, chahe power generation mein, chahe in powering vehicles, industries, agriculture, the stubble burning, biomass burning, all these produce fossil fuels. Now coming to, I have already told you that it is the most harmful of all the pollutants, as it may go deep into your bloodstream and cause problems. So problems can be of many types. It may cause cardiovascular issues, it may cause breathing issues, it may cause premature mortality, it may cause low birth weight, it may also cause heart attack or strokes. So all these problems are there. Last year, a 12-year climate activist from Haridwar, Ridhima Singh, had launched a campaign, Saal Bhar 60 campaign. Now, what was this campaign? Dekho, what is the limit for good air quality? What is the limit for PM 2.5 for good air quality in India as per CPCB? 60 microgram per meter cube. So during COVID-19 lockdowns, our cities were able to reach this limit. The particulate matter in the particulate matter 2.5 went below 60. The air quality was good. So this campaign, Saal Bhar 60, year long 60, throughout the year, the particulate matters in India should be 60. Uske liye campaign hai. The PM 2.5 level should not grow beyond 60 microgram per meter cube. Uske liye ye campaign was launched last year. So under this, so this was like lockdown ke time launch hua hai, so it would not be a physical campaign where they'll go out and march. It was a pan-India digital campaign where they were asking activist citizens as well as celebrities to hold a placard demanding clean air for all on social media, so that people who are responsible may act on it, may work towards reducing air pollution. So Saal Bhar 60 campaign. Now because you understand that 60 is the CPCB's limit for PM 2.5, तो साल भर 60 का मतलब भी आपको समझ में आएगा. Okay, this was one pollutant. Now Other pollutant that we want to discuss is sulfur dioxide. Now see, PM10, when we are not discussing PM10, but PM10 have all the properties of PM2.5 at a smaller level. Because PM10 can be filtered by your body. It cannot enter your bloodstream like that. So PM10 would cause all those problems that we have talked about in PM2.5, but at a much lower scale. So we do not, and what would be the sources? Sources would also be similar. Burning of fossil fuels and all would be the sources of PM10. So we are not discussing it separately. Now let's talk about sulfur dioxide as a pollutant. So PM2.5 was a particulate matter, it was a solid matter that was floating in the air. Sulfur dioxide is a gas. It's a colorless gas which has nasty, sharp smell. Sulfur dioxide will not be like odorless like many other gases that we'll discuss. It will give you a very nasty, pungent smell. Now, sulfur dioxide can react with water to form H2SO4, sulfuric acid, which is harmful. आपके हाथ पे सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड डाल दिया जाए, आपका हाथ जल जाएगा. When you are breathing small amounts of sulfur dioxide and it's converting into sulfuric acid, it's burning your breathing system. So it can convert into sulfuric acid or sulfurous acid or sulfate particles. All of them are harmful. Now, the biggest source of SO2 is the burning of fossil fuels in power plants or in the industrial facilities. It is the largest source. If you're burning coal, if you're burning petroleum products, वहां पे sulfur है उनमें, and that sulfur converts into sulfur dioxide when the oxygen is available and when it burns. So this is the biggest source. There are some other industrial sources too. For example, industries where we extract metals from ore. There are some natural sources like volcanoes, locomotives, ships, etc. also contribute in this sulfur pollution. Now, first thing, what is sulfur? Sulfur dioxide क्या किस में convert हो सकता है, and what is the biggest source? Biggest source is burning of fossil fuels. In fact, most of the coal that is available in India is poor quality coal that is rich in sulfur and thus produces a lot of sulfur dioxide in the air. Now, why sulfur dioxide pollution is problematic? One, health issues there. SO2, as such, when you will breathe SO2, it will create a lot of problems, especially people who are sensitive. Elderlies, children, they suffer more because of SO2. But then, SO2 can also react with other compounds to form particulate matter. We have already talked about particulate matter, uske problems. Then, SO2, when a lot of SO2 is in the air, it also leads to creation of haze, which reduces visibility. So during winters, you will see a lot of haze around you. Other than this, it may also cause environmental issues. एक तो हमारे health को impact किया, हमारे environment को देखने में हमें problem दी. But in general environment में, for example, it may cause acid rain. A lot of SO2 in the air, rainfall, H2SO4, sulfuric acid, and that sulfuric acid causing acid rain. It can increase acidification of water bodies, and we'll see in climate change, we'll see acidification of water bodies have its own big problems. Then there are cultural issues also. Cultural issues mean we are basically saying that SO2 in the air eventually impacts our monuments, statues and so on, which damages them, it discolors them. चाहे वो पानी के साथ गिर के हो या normal SO2 deposit से हो, it damages them and discolors them, and thus is bad for us, thus is bad for from the culture perspective. Okay, now why are we studying SO2? यहाँ पे हम nitrogen oxide नहीं पढ़ रहे, because nitrogen pollution we study separately. There we'll talk about all the nitrogen pollution things. But why are we specifically studying SO2? Because in the whole world, India is the largest producer of SO2. We are not the largest industrial country. We are not the largest fossil fuel users. We are not the largest population, but still we are the largest producer of sulfur dioxide. And thus sulfur dioxide की ज़्यादा producer है, so all the negative impacts of SO2 would be seen here. This was said by a study conducted by NASA. NASA has a satellite ozone monitoring instrument. through this satellite they had conducted this study. So in India, the important hotspots that they have found where a lot of SO2 is being produced include Singrauli, Niveli, uh, Talcher and Jharsuguda in Odisha, Korba in Chhattisgarh, Kutch, Ramagundam in Telangana, and Chandrapur and Koradi in Maharashtra. These are all the places where we may have thermal power plants or other such a lot of fuel being used, leading to a lot of SO2 being produced. सबसे ज़्यादा SO2 जैसे coal burn होगा, it will produce SO2. तो India में these are the major hotspots, but in general, the whole of India, in the whole of India, we have very high SO2, and thus India is the largest producer, biggest hotspot. If you see the country-wise ranking, then India is the worst contributor, followed by Russia and then China. You'll see that advanced developed countries are not there in the list because they have technologies which can prevent their coal-based power plant from emitting SO2 in the air. So, why SO2 pollution is high in India? Almost all of the SO2 that we have, that we contribute, comes from our coal-based thermal power plants. As I was already telling you, you must have also studied it in geography, that the coal that we have in India is poor quality coal that is very rich in sulfur. So almost all the SO2 that we produce comes from here. And why do other countries, like developed countries, you did not see USA in the list, you did not see Western countries in the list, West European countries in the list? Because their power plants are more advanced. In India, we lack flue gas desulfurization technologies in our power plants. But they're using these technologies to trap SO2 which is being produced. This becomes a major concern. The flue gas desulfurization is a set of technologies used to remove SO2 from the exhaust gas of fossil fuel based power plants. So India has taken certain steps. In 2015, India came up with a set of guidelines to limit the emission from coal based power plants. Emission of not only SO2 but all other pollutants. So in 2015, we came up with a set of standards ki coal-based thermal power plants will not be able to produce more than this much SO2, more than this much NO2, more than this much ozone, and so on. We came up with this standard, and it was expected that by 2017, all the power plants, coal-based thermal power plants in the country would implement these standards. But this hasn't happened. Abhi recently in April 2021, we'll study about that also. In April 2021, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has again extended the deadline for the implementation of these standards, जो कि 2015 में आए हैं. They have again extended this guidelines for different thermal power plants to different dates. Like some thermal power plants are expected to achieve these standards by 2022, by the end of 2022, some by the end of 2023, some by the end of 2024. So we have come up with SO2 emission limits and emission limits of other pollutants from our thermal power plants, but those are not being implemented. Fine. So sulfur dioxide as a pollutant, what are its problems and all? I hope you have understood it. India is the largest pollutant when it comes to this, followed by Russia and China. देखो अब now use your common sense. Why would Russia be amongst the largest producer of SO2? Russia has a lot of coal reserves. So Russia burns a lot of coal. When it's burning a lot of coal in production of energy, it will contribute to a lot of SO2. Now Russia is not technologically as advanced as Western countries or America. ये अनुभव ने अनम्यूट कर लिया अपने आप को और बैकग्राउंड म्यूजिक आ रहा है इसका. बच्चे बहुत परेशान करते हैं. चलिए, coming back. So you'll understand why Russia would be one of the countries. Russia has a lot of coal and all. Why China would be there? China would be there in the list because China is among the largest energy user in the world. Now, if China is among the largest energy users in the world, it will use a lot of energy, it will use a lot of coal, and thus it would also produce a lot of SO2. So common sense, like you do not have to cram India. India is the largest, you should know that. After that, Russia, China, like logically socho, so that in exam if it comes also, you will be able to think logically and identify the options. Now, ozone pollution. During lockdown, sulfur dioxide level in the air throughout the country, nitrogen oxide levels in the air throughout the country, particulate matter 10, particulate matter 2.5, these are all pollutants. They all went down. The level of these pollutants during lockdown went down. You would say कि हाँ sir, जाना ही चाहिए था. We were not using a lot of fuels, not a lot of travel was happening, not a lot of vehicles were running, all the industries were closed, so all these things should have gone down. But a CSE studies shows that ozone levels increased during lockdown. It's not only some people may say that ये anti-national institution है, India का image खराब कर रहा है and all. It's not only this study which is showing it. A number of international studies have also shown that in many parts of the world, not only in India, in many parts of the world, ozone pollution at the troposphere level went up even during lockdown. We'll understand why it happened. But first, let us understand what is ozone. Now, ozone or O3 is a compound which consists of 3 oxygen atoms. Ozone is found in the stratosphere also, where it is the ozone layer which protects us from ultraviolet rays of sun. Ozone in stratosphere is very important for us. Without ozone in stratosphere, many of us would have got cancer because of the ultraviolet rays from sun. And thus ozone in stratosphere is good for us. But ozone at the ground level, ozone in the troposphere is the problematic one. And here when we are talking about air pollution, we are talking about ozone in the troposphere level. I hope you're able to understand. हम दो अलग अलग ओजोन्स की बात करें. The O3 compound is same, but O3 in stratosphere is good for us. It filters the infrared rays, ultraviolet rays from sun and protects us from ultraviolet rays of sun. But ozone at the ground level, let's say this is my earth, this is troposphere, this is earth, this is up to this height we have troposphere, and let's say we have stratosphere here. So ozone in the stratosphere here is good for me. This layer of ozone is good for me. It's protecting me from the ultraviolet rays from sun. While studying space, we had talked about the spectrum. Visible light के ऊपर आता है ultraviolet, which is high energy and is harmful. Visible light से कम energy वाला होता है infrared. So for communication we use radio waves whose frequency is less than visible light, be it infrared, be it microwave, be it radio wave, because those are not harmful, those are not high energy. But ultraviolet rays are of high energy and thus they are harmful for us, and thus this ozone layer protects us from that. That's good. We'll talk about ozone layer depletion in climate change section. Acidification, ozone layer depletion, greenhouse effect, these are all components of climate change. Here we are talking about air pollution. So air pollution, we are talking about ozone which is found in the air around us, in the troposphere, in the air that we breathe. And ozone is a highly reactive compound. It readily gives up oxygen to oxidize others. It's highly reactive. And because it's highly reactive, it's dangerous. वो आपके बॉडी में जाके रिएक्ट करेगा, आपकी स्किन को बर्न करेगा. So let's understand this pollution thing. Now, first thing that we are saying is Ground level ozone is a secondary pollutant. It's a secondary pollution or secondary pollutant. Why is a secondary pollution or secondary pollutant? It's a secondary pollution or secondary pollutant because one, it is not produced by burning of fuel or by any other source directly. Let's say NO2, when you burn coal, when you burn petrol, NO2 would be produced. Sulfur dioxide, when you burn coal, petrol, sulfur dioxide would be produced. Particulate matter, when you burn coal and all these things, particulate matter would be produced. Benzene would be produced. Lead would be released. Lead vapors may be released. Mercury vapors may be released. These are all primary pollutant. But this is ozone is not produced like that. Ozone is produced from the pollutant which are released in the atmosphere by other things. For example, by burning fossil fuel, NO2 would be released, volatile organic carbons would be released. These things in the presence of sunlight will react to form ozone. So, ozone is a secondary pollutant for this reason. So, by fuel and all, volatile organic carbon, NOx, these are getting produced in the presence of sunlight. They will react to form ozone. Ozone is not a direct pollutant, primary pollutant which will be produced by these sources. It's a secondary pollutant. That's why we call ozone a secondary pollutant. I hope you're able to understand this. Ozone is a secondary pollutant. Now, so how is it produced? Look at this image. Nitrogen oxides, different forms of nitrogen oxides and volatile organic carbons. These in the presence of sunlight will form ozone. Okay, तो ozone हो गया. Now, generally on very hot sunny days, hot days where a lot of vehicles and all those things are being used, and sunny days, a lot of ozone would be produced because enough sunlight is available and then pollutants are anyways there in Delhi throughout the year. Then another characteristic of ozone is generally other pollutants, for example sulfur dioxide or nitrogen oxides, they do not travel this much. So if they are produced in the urban area, they'll impact urban area more. But ozone can travel a lot. So ozone would be produced in urban area, but it will impact even rural areas because its way of travel is easier. So in Delhi, ozone pollution has generally been increasing. I'm not talking about ozone being higher during the lockdown. Uska reason alag hai. But in Delhi in general, ozone pollution has been increasing. Why is it? Why would it be so? Because more nitrogen oxide, because more fuel is burned every year, more nitrogen oxide, more volatile organic carbons are being burned. Temperature is increasing every year because of climate change. So enough sunlight is available. So every year more and more ozone is available, or more ozone pollution is happening in Delhi. Now, why ozone is problematic? Why ozone is pollutant? तो पहले इसके negative health impacts. It's a pollutant because it creates problems for us. Because it's highly reactive, it will have immediate adverse effect on people who have asthma, people who have respiratory diseases. उनके lungs में already their lungs are already facing some issues, and when they breathe in ozone, this ozone goes and react with their lungs, with the skin and all, and harms them. Then it may also cause chest pain, coughing, throat irritation, airway inflammation. It can impact lung function and harm lung tissues. It can also affect people with certain genetic conditions, and people who are having low intake of vitamin C and vitamin E are generally at greater risk. Vitamin C and vitamin E, if you remember, even during COVID-19, to ensure that you have higher immunity, healthier lungs, there was suggestion that you should consume vitamin C, vitamin E. So people who do not consume this regularly, unko zyada negatively impact kar sakta. This is one thing, health impact. Perhaps in one line it could have been done. Environmental impact. Because it is highly reactive, so it will also react with plants, no. एक new plant has come up, which is very sensitive to its environment, which has still not become as strong to its tissues, ozone will react easily. So in the growth phase, ozone would affect those things, and thus ozone can also affect ecosystems. In India, ozone is an important pollutant, and therefore our various measurements that we have of air pollution, in that ozone is also measured. For example, National Ambient Air Quality Standards, which have been given by CPCB, it has identified a list of 12-13 pollutants. One of those pollutants is ozone. We'll talk about NA. If you look at the index of your notes, you'll see that it is part of your notes. National Ambient Air Quality Standard is part of your notes. So CPCB का standard है which measures various pollutants in the air, and ozone is one thing that is measured. Even Air Quality Index and SAFAR also use ozone measurement to determine the quality of air. So we'll come to AQI and SAFAR both. But now, during lockdown, why did ozone went down? कोई बताना चाहेगा कि during lockdown why the hell would ozone go up? When nitrogen oxide कम हो रहा है, volatile organic carbons which are being produced, from which ozone is produced, are reduced, why would ozone levels go up? नहीं, चलिए देखिए, होता क्या है ना, volatile organic carbons plus nitrogen oxides, they react to produce certain compounds plus ozone. This is the normal scenario. Okay, but this ozone is highly reactive, you already know that. So if lot of NOx is produced, it reacts with this NOx to convert into O2 plus some nitrogen compounds. मतलब oxygen वो बढ़ जाएगा. So presence of NOx and volatile organic carbon in sunlight leads to creation of ozone. But because this ozone is highly reactive, it can react with more NOx to get destroyed. But during COVID-19 lockdown, this extra NOx was not available. Ozone was formed. Now ozone remained in the atmosphere for a longer period because it did not have anything to react with and get destroyed that easily. This was the reason because of which other pollutants went down. Other pollutants went down, ozone kept on, or ozone was high even during COVID-19 lockdown. I hope समझ में आ रहा है? Okay, okay. Now, ये तो the whole issue of why ozone was higher. तो यहाँ पे you'll see the heading that ozone builds up in cleaner areas. In cleaner areas, they would not have that extra NOx to get destroyed. That's why ozone keeps on building up in cleaner areas, and that's why during clean periods in Delhi, ozone was increasing. And there's one more thing, like when CSC did this measurement, CSC's measurement was different from the way Central Pollution Control Board does the measurement of ozone. Central Pollution Control Board used the time period 8 AM to 4 PM. In this 8 hours, it measured the level of ozone. Okay, but in reality what happens, ozone levels are higher after 4 PM. Because till 4 PM in summers there would be a lot of sunlight, there would be a lot of pollution, so ozone will keep getting produced. So if you want to measure ozone levels in the air, you should also include the period after 4 PM. So what CSC has done, CSC has followed international standards. International standard is not to measure ozone between 8 PM to 4 PM. International standard is to measure ozone when the ozone levels are highest. So it has also used the 8-hour period, but CSC has used the 8-hour period where ozone levels are higher. I hope you have understood this. So CPCB uses this time period 8 AM to 4 PM. it uses the other time period because the risk of ozone or the amount of ozone being in air, its chances is higher after 4 p.m. rather than before it. Okay, there are some charts. Let me take this charts. क्या बोल रहा है कोई? बोल रहा है rotten eggs. लोकेश मेरे पे rotten eggs फेंकना चाह रहा है क्या? अच्छा, SO2 की स्मेल का बता रहे हैं rotten eggs. एंड देन AC भी है. AC फेंको यार, AC की जरूरत है मुझे हॉल में. What about AC? What about AC? अच्छा, उस नहीं 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 नहीं. Okay. I hope this is done. You have understood the issue of ozone. In general, what is ozone? What are its negative impacts? What are its problems? How is it produced? Even during lockdown, why ozone tended to increase? Fine. Now, benzene. Benzene, like for those of you who study science in class 11 and class 12, your whole of organic chemistry, like जितना भी organic chemistry आप पढ़ते हैं, a large part of it is around benzene. बेंजीन का इससे रिएक्शन, बेंजीन का उससे रिएक्शन. आई रिमेम्बर लाइक हम जब पढ़ते थे, ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री पढ़ते थे, तो इन दैट होल बुक, होल नोटबुक ऑफ ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री, वो हर पेज पे एक बार वो बेंजीन टाइप का स्ट्रक्चर तो बना ही होता था. बेंजीन वाज दिस कॉमन. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, बेंजीन हम ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री में पढ़ रहे हैं, इज एन ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड. इट्स एन एरोमेटिक कंपाउंड. धीमी धीमी अच्छी सी खुशबू आती है. आई एम सॉरी, आई एम नॉट सपोज टू स्पीक इन हिंदी. धीमी धीमी अच्छी सी खुशबू, इसे अंग्रेजी में कैसे बोलेंगे? फ्रेग्रेंस. फील ही चली गई ना पूरी. अपनी भाषा में जैसे आप समझा सकते हो, वो वैसे नहीं समझ. चलो कोई बात नहीं. फ्रेग्रेंस, हाँ. तो फ्रेग्रेंस नहीं, एरोमेटिक, हाँ ठीक है. तो it's an aromatic organic compound which have 6 carbon members. So basically, for those of you who are not from the science background, please note roughly this is the structure of benzene. There are 6 carbon atoms and then there are hydrogen atoms. So basically, कहीं double bond होता है, कहीं single bond होता है, and this double bond keeps shifting. So generally we draw benzene like this. I'm sorry, it's been like मैं 2007-8 में पढ़ा था मैंने IIT JEE प्रिपरेशन में. लास्ट टाइम ये चीजें 10-12 साल हो गए, कुछ गलत बोल दूंगा, बट this is what used to be benzene. Okay, now we do not have to know this. बस मैं आपको single 6 member unsaturated carbon ring को बता रहा था कि it was a carbon ring like this. It was a carbon ring. Carbon ring in this sense, and unsaturated means it does not have all the like अगर ये क्या हो रहा है? If each of the carbons have 2 hydrogen, then it becomes completely saturated. All hydrogens have been added here, but here that's not the case. Here only one hydrogen is there. In benzene only one hydrogen is there. And therefore these carbons would have double bonds like this. Okay, so roughly this is the structure of benzene. It is a clear, colorless, volatile, highly inflammable liquid with a characteristic order and density of 874 kgs per meter cube. तो वाटर का डेंसिटी 1000 kg per meter cube होता है, इसका 874 kg per meter cube. तो इट्स अ लिक्विड, हाईली इन्फ्लेमेबल वंस, एंड दैट्स व्हाई फ्यूल में भी हो जाता है तो प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती है. नाउ इन एयर it mostly goes in vapor form. If you leave some benzene open, you would see that some of them would keep getting into the air, and that's why you get that smell. So it will keep getting released in the air. So in petrol, in diesel, when benzene is there, so near petrol pumps and all, you will see benzene getting released in the air in the form of vapors. Now, this benzene, depending on the temperature, pressure, environmental condition, would remain in the air from 1 day to 2 weeks. Okay, now, so because one, it is available in petrol and diesel, it will be there in the air near petrol pumps and everywhere. But please note, it's an organic compound, and in general, you burn any organic thing, some benzene would be produced. आप coal burn कर रहे हो, आप fuel burn कर रहे हो, some benzene is there, it will either burn because it's highly inflammable. It will burn, but some unburned benzene can also be released. It's not possible कि 100% burning हो जाए. So if you are asked a question, which of the following produce benzene? So any organic fuel which comes from organic sources, be it coal, be it petrol, सबको select करो. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so where is benzene produced from? Benzene is emitted as an air pollutant from gasoline station, from motor vehicle exhaust, from fuel evaporation. If you leave diesel or petrol just like this open, some of it will evaporate and benzene would also come out there. Burning of coal and oil and various other sources. Please understand, generally in environment and science and technology, the questions that UPSC has been asking, a lot of questions have been focusing on your broader understanding. You cannot make a list of things कि benzene कहाँ से produce होगा. There would be a lot of those things. You have to understand it being organic, it being available in organic products, and thus coal, petrol, जो भी organic चीजें burn हो रही हैं, वहाँ पे some benzene would be released. Okay, now benzene, there are some indoor sources of benzene also. When a new home is there, newly painted home, there you would always have that small sweet smell coming, that's of benzene. So benzene pollution are there in material used in construction, remodeling and decoration. Benzene is also present in the particle board, furniture, plywood, fiberglass, flooring adhesives, paints, wood paneling, paint removers. All these things have some forms of benzene. So indoor, within your house, you may also face benzene pollution. Then indoors, you can also see the impact of benzene by where space heating happens by coal or wood or gas or kerosene or LPG. All of them have some benzene. तो देखो एक क्वेश्चन आता है, which of the following, burning of which of the following may cause benzene pollution? One would be petrol, other would be diesel, then there would be coal, then there would be, let's say, kerosene, then there will be candles, then there will be wood. Which of them will cause benzene pollution? All of them will cause benzene pollution. All of them. मतलब कोई एक नहीं, सब benzene pollution cause करेंगे. Okay, so I've done all this just to make you understand that benzene थोड़ा बहुत हर जगह से produce हो रहा होगा. Now, what are the issues associated with benzene pollution? Pollution है, so it may cause cancer, it may damage immune system, it may have neurological, reproductive, developmental issues. In addition of being an air pollutant, it can also pollute water. These vapors may get deposited, may eventually get mixed with water, and thus it may create issues. So recently, NGT had created a joint committee for air pollution in Kerala. So NGT has different benches. So uska jo southern bench hai, while covering NGT, we had talked about different benches of NGT. Uska southern bench had created a committee to understand the pollution situation in Kerala, and there one of the key findings was petrol refueling stations were a major source of benzene emission, volatile organic compounds, and particulate matter 2.5 concentration. And then there is general recommendation about how do we reduce air pollution. So one important recommendation was installation of vapor recovery system at fueling stations. At petrol pumps and all, at fueling stations, we have to install vapor recovery system so that benzene which is being released in the form of vapors in the atmosphere, that could be recovered, benzene pollution could be released. And then general air pollution related recommendations are there: retrofitting of diesel vehicle with particulate filters, stringent action against industrial units which are not complying with the norms, retrofitting of emission control devices or devices on generators and replacing diesel generators with gas based system, promoting battery operated vehicles and banning old diesel vehicles in a phased manner. In general things, generally air pollution को कैसे आप control करेंगे, those things are written. Now let's talk about, the benzene is done, now let's talk about smog. Today when we talk about smog, we are basically talking about ozone only. Smog is ozone, but traditionally smog was something else. Traditionally smog was smoke mixed with fog was smog. So before we get into these technicalities ki what is smog, let us understand, look at this picture and understand the impact of smog. In fact, I think there's a image separately. There must be one more image which in the section where we are talking about impact of COVID-19 or air pollution. Yeah, look at this image. 2018 Delhi, during lockdown Delhi. We never realize we live in such a beautiful city, we live in such a beautiful world, and we have ruined it like anything until nature forces us to realize that. So during lockdown, this is how the Janpath area looked like. This is how clear the pictures were, and in general, this is the situation. वहाँ पे देखो, people are going for jog and all. They cannot do anything, and they are breathing in all the ozone, all the sulfur dioxide, all the nitrous nitric oxides, all the particulate matters, all the benzene, all the whatever. They're breathing in. कुछ कर भी नहीं सकते हैं. If they sit at home, तो वैसे ही मर जाएंगे डायबिटीज से, बीपी से. If they go out, PM 2.5 से मर जाएंगे. मरना तो सबको है. ओके, तो I was just giving you an idea कि same time पे हम pictures ले रहे हैं on a polluted day, on a day where nature fought back. The difference in the view. Okay, now let's go back. Smog. What is smog? Smog is an air pollution which is originally named after smoke plus fog, and thus the term smog. So classical smog was formed like this. Classical smog was formed after when a lot of coal was burned and a lot of fog was produced. So sulfur dioxide mixed with fog led to creation of smog. तो हमने sulfur dioxide का एक ही बोलता है, haze produce करता है वो, जिससे visibility impact होती है. It was this thing. But today, most of the smog that we see is photochemical smog. Photochemical smog, photochemical, chemical reaction which has taken place in the presence of light. Volatile organic compounds reacted with nitrogen oxides to form ozone. So this is photochemical reaction which has led to the photochemical smog. So nitrogen oxide in the presence of sunlight react with organic compounds to form ozone or smog. So we have already seen the negative impacts of ozone. All those would be the negative impact of smog also. Plus visibility wala issue hai, aesthetics of a city. Look at, we just saw the two pictures of India Gate. So someone visits India Gate, and when they look at India Gate in two different ways. So wahan pe we are saying that it also hampers the aesthetics of the city. So in 2019, Supreme Court had ordered that Delhi needs to come up with smog towers. these smog towers should be able to pump in air, remove particulate matters and smog from the air and release it purification purpose के लिए. So throughout Delhi, there are steps being taken for coming up with this smog towers. But again, rather than removing smog from the air, we should focus on how we can prevent smog being created. Fly ash. To understand fly ash, let's again understand this. This is, let's say I'm burning some coal, and this is my chimney. This is my chimney from which the gas is going out. Okay, so when I burn some coal, after the coal is burnt, what is left here is ash. What is left is ash. This ash which is left here is called bottom ash. Bottom ash. But a lot of ash also goes out with smoke and spreads around. This ash is called fly ash. So bottom ash and fly ash, constituent wise, they are not very different. But bottom ash has been left here. It was heavier. And fly ash has blown away with the smoke. I hope what is fly ash that you have understood. Now, fly ash is a coal combustion byproduct when coal is burned in thermal power plants and all. So ash that is driven out of the coal fired boilers together with flue gas is fly ash. Now, generally in modern thermal power plants, we have mechanisms to capture this fly ash. We do not let fly ash to get into the environment. We have electrostatic precipitators or particle filtration equipment which prevents this fly ash from getting into the environment. But as we know, in India, our thermal power plants are still not advanced enough. We are still emitting a lot of fly ash in the atmosphere. So, is this fly ash harmful? This fly ash consists of, the constituent of fly ash would vary because the coal that you are burning in itself is varying in quality, is varying in composition. So, the composition of fly ash would vary, but fly ash generally consists of these things. They have silicon dioxide, they have aluminum oxide, they have calcium oxide. These are also the key components of cement. जब आप cement manufacturing में जाते हो, तो these are some of the raw materials which are used. Now, when we look at key characteristics of fly ash, what are the key features of fly ash? So one is this fly ash consists of, other than consisting of calcium oxide and aluminum oxide and all, it consists of various toxic constituents like lead, cadmium, chromium, arsenic and so on. So when this fly ash gets into the air and you breathe that air, you're also breathing in these poisonous things, creating lung problems for you, creating breathing issues for you. That is one issue. Then it is bad for environment. एक तो air pollution तो कर ही दिया, but this fly ash will go and get deposited on the soil. It has a lot of negative impact, poisonous things. It will create soil pollution. It will get deposited in water, get mixed with water. It will also cause water pollution. Then because this fly ash can travel large distances along with the smoke that is being released, it impacts a very large area. And finally, another characteristic is that it is a pozzolan. What is pozzolan? Pozzolan is a substance which consists of aluminium and siliceous material, and when mixed with water, they form cement. So it consists of aluminium material, it consists of silicon material. So when this fly ash is mixed with water, it has cementing properties, and thus it can act as cement. So it is a pozzolan and thus could be very useful for construction purpose. Now, we want to reduce fly ash. We have seen a lot of negative impacts. There is air pollution, there is water pollution, there is soil pollution. There are health issues that it would cause. So one key thing that is done is generally washing of coal has been seen to reduce the fly ash production. Reduce, not eliminate it. It may reduce fly ash production. But recently some studies had come which has said that washing of coal से आप जितना water waste कर देते हो उससे कम environmental advantage you are bringing by reducing the fly ash thing. But then, as we were saying, we can improve the quality of our power plants by coming up with advanced technologies, equipments which can capture this fly ash in the smoke. With the smoke, it will not allow fly ash to go. So these are certain things which are done. Now, if we capture the fly ash and we also have bottom ash, where can this ash be used? The one is in the construction industry. In the manufacturing of cement, it could be used. So it can be used for making Portland pozzolan cement. In fact, IIT Hyderabad have also developed mechanisms where this fly ash can be converted into paint, textile coating and all, but these are experimental in nature. News में आ जाता है, PIB में आ जाता है, but वो उस level पे कभी पहुंच नहीं पाता है. So, but these things are there. Then it could be used for making bricks, blocks, tiles, etc. It could be used in agriculture as soil conditioners. In a balanced way, when we add fly ash in the soil, it can improve the quality of soil. Then, for reclaiming low-lying areas are generally those areas जहाँ पे पानी भरा रहता है हम उसे use नहीं कर पाते हैं. So people tend to add a lot of soil in that area to reclaim that area. Rather than adding soil, this waste fly ash and bottom ash, it could be used there. And finally, for backfilling of mines, when you have digged out all the coal, you have to backfill the mine. You cannot leave that hole like that. So for backfilling of mine also, this fly ash could be used. Okay, these are the different uses of fly ash. Now, several steps have been taken in India to use this fly ash. One is from 1999 only, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change have been coming up with various notifications for fly ash utilization. The current notification is the 2016 notification, which says that any construction activity which is going on within 300 km of a coal-based thermal power plant, it must be using some fly ash-based material. So, construction activities going on within 300 km of coal-based power plant should use ash-based products for construction. Further, it says that government projects, government schemes, programs are mandated to use ash-based bricks. So it is leading to increasing in demand in ash-based product and thus use of the captured ash. तभी जो थर्मल पावर प्लांट वाले लोग हैं वो ज्यादा फोकस भी करेंगे कैप्चरिंग ऑफ एश में. Then Maharashtra as a state had come up with an ash utilization policy. It was planning to export ash to countries like Singapore and Dubai where there are in a lot of demands. GST on products which have been created out of fly ash have been reduced to 5%. Then there's also an app called Ash Track app. Ash Track app. It connects the ash supplier and ash users. For example, it connects construction industry with the thermal power plant. Where do I get ash from if I have to use it? So it is through this app. You can create an account in this app and then get connected. Then there are various awareness campaigns also which goes on related to ash, like ash को कैसे prevent करना है, ash products use करने के फायदे क्या हैं, सस्ता है and all those kind of things also keeps. Okay, so this was fly ash. I hope fly ash maybe you do not have any doubts, any concern. Let me quickly cover these two topics, then I'll take all the doubts that you people may be having. Okay, petroleum coke. petroleum coke. Do we understand what petroleum coke is? कोई बताएगा? Is anyone interested in telling me what petroleum coke is? नहीं, कोई नहीं इंटरेस्टेड है, सब नालायक बच्चे हैं. हाँ, कोई कोई बता रहा है. शुभो इसलिए, या शुभो टेल मी. Okay, yes, right, Shubho. So see, शुभ, अब आपकी आवाज चली गई है. चलिए, देखो, व्हाट इज गोइंग. Okay, let's come back here. You must have seen in your school days. You must have seen an image where crude oil from crude oil, various products were being separated. जैसे kerosene was there, kerosene, petrol, diesel. So based on boiling point, different things from crude oil are separated in this manner. Okay, जिसका boiling point सबसे कम होगा वो सबसे पहले सबसे ऊपर जा के निकल जाएगा, जिसका boiling point और ज़्यादा होगा, and so on. This is how a distillation service works. But in the end, you are left with some solid material, which will not be either petrol or diesel or kerosene. Okay, this solid material here is petroleum. And this thing is petroleum coke. Now, this can also be used as a fuel. This is also fuel. This has been produced from organic compound. This is also fossil fuel, but this is highly polluting fossil fuel. For example, it's very rich in sulfur. So till a few years back, what used to happen was all over the world, like USA में, there are lots of oil industry. They'll take out all different kinds of fuels and then they'll export petroleum coke to India. In India, go and use it in India. India will import it. India was the largest importer of petroleum coke in the world and would use this fuel, which will lead to a lot of pollution in India. आज भी हो रहा है. At least हमारे domestic वाले sources से ये हो रहा है. So it's a major source of pollution. This is something that you should know about. We do not have to know more details about it, but this basic thing is something that you have to know about. Okay, then what was the other thing? What was the other topic? Fuel oil or heavy oil. See, पेट्रोल, डीजल ये सब निकल रहा है ना, उसके बाद एक heavy oil भी होता है. Above petroleum coke, you have heavy oil. And heavy oil is generally used in shipping industry. Ships में जो oil use होता है for transportation of big ships, that is heavy oil. And heavy oil is also highly polluting. It's also very rich in sulfur and creates a lot of problems. Further, what happens is, suppose this happens, let's say an oil accident happens, an oil tanker which is coming from UAE to India, it meets some accident. So a lot of oil will be released in the atmosphere, in the water. Most of that oil actually in sometimes eventually gets evaporated. But उस accident में अगर ship का जो storage था oil का personal use के लिए, that is heavy oil. If that is leaked, its damages are much higher. Because it's heavy, it doesn't evaporate that easily and it impacts living organisms in a much more stronger way, and thus is a cause of concern. Okay, the petroleum coke, heavy oil, we do not have to get into details about them, but you should know what these things are. What is petroleum coke? What is heavy oil? You must have an idea about. Okay, now I'll take doubts before I jump onto the air pollution situation in the country and in the world as such. Let me see the raised hands which are there. लोकेश जी ने हाथ उठाया. लोकेश जी बताइए. No. Aviation turbine fuel is not heavy oil. Please understand. वहां पे हम फ्यूल लाइट से लाइट रखना चाहेंगे. Anything else, guys? कोई डाउट नहीं है? किसी को कोई डाउट नहीं? हाँ, चांदनी जी बताइए. It No, beta, very small amount of it can act as conditioner in the soil. That's why. So it has some heavy metals and all. So Chandni's question is कि fly ash has heavy metal as pollutants. So why are we saying that it can be added into the soil as conditioner? So small amount of it may not be harmful, would not be harmful. Yes. Yes, that would be a concern that has to be taken care of. Ki fly ash, which doesn't have a lot of heavy metal, must be the ones which should be used. As we said, no, fly ash can be of different types. तो वहाँ पे वो यूज होना चाहिए. जैसे आप लाइक योर क्वेश्चन वुड यू वुड आल्सो हैव द सेम क्वेश्चन कि सर माइन को रिफिल करने के लिए इफ यू आर यूजिंग फ्लाई ऐश देन इवेंचुअली व्हेन वाटर गेट्स इनटू द माइन फ्लाई ऐश से हेवी मेटल विल लीच एंड विल गेट इनटू द ग्राउंड वाटर. That's true, but understand this that heavy metal has come out of that ground only. The coal that was already there in that ground, the heavy metal has come from there. तो इतना क्वांटिटी ज्यादा नहीं होता कि उसका इतना ज्यादा नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट होगा. जहां पे ज्यादा होगा वहां पे हम यूज नहीं करेंगे. ओके. Yes, I was telling you that no, the washing of coal was not having that much advantage. It was not leading to reduction of this thing, and thus is being suggested कि नहीं करना चाहिए. This I said in the class. अच्छा, you are saying कि industries or power plants are not interested in washing. That may also be one of the reasons. Okay, that may also be one of the reasons ki why, because most of the thermal power plants that we have is owned by government only. Okay. Now, so far what we have done is we have studied various types of pollutants, various sources of pollution. Now we will study what is the situation of pollution. Ozone is a pollutant, nitrous oxide is a pollutant, sulfur dioxide is a pollutant, particulate matter is a pollutant, benzene is a pollutant, lead is a pollutant, fly ash is a pollutant, and all those things are pollutants. But pollution कितना हो रखा है अभी दुनिया में? This we would study through various reports that we have. So first report that we want to study is the World Air Quality Report 2020, which was released in March 2021. Just एक second. World Air Quality Report 2020, which was released in March 2021. So first thing that you should know is who is releasing this report. That you should know carefully. A Swiss technology company, IQ Air, releases World Air Quality Report. First thing that you should know for preliminary exam. Swiss tech company IQ Air is responsible for release of this report. Now this report only includes PM 2.5 data. As I was telling you, that PM 2.5 is the most dangerous pollutant that we have. So and moreover, when we control PM 2.5, we end up controlling other kinds of pollutants also. It is publishing its air quality report based on the amount of PM 2.5 which are there. In this year's report, that is in 2020, it has covered 106 countries. If you look at the key findings of the report, it says that South Asia and Southeast Asia are the most polluted regions in the world. हम जहां रह रहे हैं, that is the most polluted region in the world. Of the 50 most polluted cities in the world, 49 are in India or in its neighborhood. India, Bangladesh, China, Pakistan. तो पाकिस्तान, इंडिया, बांग्लादेश, चाइना, मतलब अपने चारों तरफ पोल्यूशन ही पोल्यूशन है. Out of the 50 of the world's most polluted cities, 49 are here. Out of the 30 cities, 22 are in India only. 22 are there in India only. Now, COVID-19 emerged as an exceptional factor, and 65% of the global cities and 85% of the countries have seen an improvement in air quality, but it's an exceptional factor. It would not happen every year. If you look at country ranking in terms of average PM 2.5, so Bangladesh, Pakistan, India are the most polluted cities in the world. These three cities like. But अगर आप वर्ल्ड कैपिटल्स की रैंकिंग देखोगे तो दिल्ली इज द मोस्ट पोल्यूटेड सिटी इन द वर्ल्ड, फॉलोड बाय ढाका, उलानबातर इज द कैपिटल ऑफ मंगोलिया, काबुल, दोहा. तो देखो सारे आसपास के सिटीज हैं, कैपिटल सिटीज हैं, which are amongst the most polluted in the world. In general, in India, about India, what it is saying, India में pollution level is still dangerously high. We're saying still dangerously high even after COVID-19 का lockdown and all, the pollution level is dangerously high. India is the third most polluted city in the world. We saw this. Bangladesh, Pakistan and India. मतलब बांग्लादेश, पाकिस्तान यहाँ भी इंडिया से compete कर रहा है. Delhi is the most polluted city in the world, and India continues to dominate annual PM 2.5 ranking by city. Of the 30 most polluted cities, 22 are in India. Okay, so you will not be able to recall all these things. Know that World Air Quality Report is produced by IQ Air, and India की हालत बहुत खराब है. थर्ड मोस्ट पोल्यूटेड सिटी, थर्ड मोस्ट पोल्यूटेड कंट्री इन द वर्ल्ड, और जो फर्स्ट सेकंड है वो भी अपने ही हैं. अभी अखंड भारत करके पाकिस्तान, बांग्लादेश को भी ले लेंगे साथ में, तो वो भी अपने ही हैं. मतलब ऐसा है ना कि पार्टीशन हो गया, प्रॉपर्टी डिवाइड हो जाती है भाइयों के बीच में, और वो रहता है ना कि फैमिली वाले ही हैं. लड़के अलग हो गए, एक दूसरे को खून खराबा कर रहे हैं, एक दूसरों के घर में टेररिस्ट भेज रहे हैं, क्या कर रहे हैं, बट है तो अपने ही. जब इंसान को समझ आ जाएगी, जब हम रियलाइज कर लेंगे कि लड़ वड़ के कोई फायदा नहीं, ये पॉलिटिशियंस हमें लड़वाते रहते हैं और सिपाही एक दूसरे को मारते रहते हैं. मतलब एक बांग्लादेश का सिपाही, एक इंडिया का सिपाही, एक पाकिस्तान का सिपाही, सबकी फैमिलीज एक जैसी होंगी. वो वहां गया था कि लाइवलीहुड अर्न कर ले, और पॉलिटिशियंस अपनी मर्जी से मरवाते रहते हैं उन लोगों को. लाइक व्हेन अ इंडियन सोल्जर इज किल्ड, व्हेन अ पाकिस्तानी सोल्जर इज किल्ड, उनकी फैमिली के पर्सपेक्टिव से सोचो, पेन उनको भी उतना ही हो रहा है. पेन हमारे पॉलिटिशियंस को नहीं हो रहा होता है, वो हर तरफ झूठे आंसू बहा रहे होते हैं, वरना वो लड़ाई करवाते ही नहीं. चलिए, एनीवेज, तो अपने ही भाई बंधु हैं जहां पे पोल्यूशन हमसे ज्यादा है, तो वो पूरा अखंड भारत ही पोल्यूटेड है, हालत खराब है. ठीक है, एक और रिपोर्ट है, स्टेट ऑफ ग्लोबल एयर. अब देखो, पता नहीं क्या मन करता है बहुत सारे रिपोर्ट्स बनाने का. वर्ल्ड एयर क्वालिटी, वर्ल्ड एयर, अब स्टेट ऑफ ग्लोबल एयर 2020. Now this report was released in October 2020, and this report is published by Health Effect Institute of USA. So this is an annual report जो Health Effect Institute in collaboration with Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation. This is an Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation. उसका एक प्रोजेक्ट है ग्लोबल बर्डन ऑफ डिजीज प्रोजेक्ट. तो Health Effect Institute along with Global Burden of Disease Project, they come up with this annual report of air pollution. This is state of global air. ओके, तो वर्ल्ड हो गया, ग्लोब हो गया. अब और कैसे लिख बताना चाहोगे? नहीं, if we want to come up with another report, international air quality report, right? तो वर्ल्ड IQ एयर, ग्लोबल health effect institute, HEI. So what is the report saying? It's saying that air pollution is the 4th leading cause of death. What are the first 3 leading cause? BP, tobacco, and poor diet. Blood pressure, tobacco, and poor diet are the 3 most important causes of death. The 4th one is air pollution. तो देखो, फर्स्ट 3 तो आपके हाथ में है. तो this perhaps also tells us कि how stupid we people are. जो 3 मेन causes of death है वो we ourselves are causing that problem. 4th भी हम ही cause कर रहे हैं. But 3 is like, the first 3 are something which individuals can control. Like air pollution, perhaps मैं सब कुछ perfectly भी कर रहा हूँ, air pollution reduce नहीं होगा, but these 3 things could be very well taken care of. Okay, so air pollution is the 4th largest killer. If we look at countries in terms of highest levels of ambient PM 2.5, particulate matter 2.5, तो वर्ल्ड की 5 वर्स्ट कंट्रीज हम देखेंगे. तो इंडिया, नेपाल. अब नेपाल भी एक भाई था, ऊपर रह गया, तो उसने बोला हम पीछे नहीं रहेंगे, हम दूसरे रिपोर्ट में आ जाएंगे साथ. तो वर्स्ट इज इंडिया, देन नेपाल, नाइजर, Qatar, and Nigeria. So there are African countries here, and then there are Asian countries. PM 2.5. देखो ऊपर पे PM 2.5 का ही मेजरमेंट था, but worst countries were Bangladesh, Pakistan, and India. But here India followed by Nepal. So everyone has different measure of this thing. Then when it comes to ozone exposure, ozone is also an important pollution. Then here the worst country is Qatar, followed by Nepal, India, Bangladesh and Bahrain. तो यहाँ पे नेपाल दोस्ती कर रहा है हमसे, इंडिया के साथ यहाँ रहना है, चाहे आगे रहे पीछे रहे, इंडिया के साथ रहे. Okay, now please note that ozone is also a greenhouse gas. So ozone is accelerated by climate change because of climate change, heat would be higher, and ozone accelerates climate change. Both the things are there. A question may be asked from you: ozone pollution is accelerated by climate change. Second statement, ozone accelerates climate change. Ozone pollution accelerates climate change. Both these statements would be correct. Then global levels of ozone exposure have been slowly but steadily increasing. ठीक है. Now there's another report. इसमें बस report पढ़िए, report का नाम पढ़िए, State of India's Environment Report. This is published by Down to Earth. Down to Earth ये आर्टिकल्स मैं आपको भेजता रहता हूँ. This annual report is State of India's Environment Report is published by Down to Earth. I am covering this report. This annual report is of around 450 pages. I will cover each and every article of this report for your preliminary as well as for your mains examination. जो चीज प्रिलिमिनरी एग्जामिनेशन के लिए रिलेवेंट होगा यहाँ पे कवर करेंगे. That's mostly relevant for your mains examination. So at the time of your mains examination, we will be covering each and every section of this report which is part of your syllabus. The syllabus में जो चीजें mentioned है वो हम cover कर रहे होंगे. You do not have to go through it, but it's a like if you are interested, go for it because it's a very beautifully written source. And UPSC over the last 4-5 years in environment as well as in geography have been asking most of the questions from this annual publication only. But अगर नहीं भी पढ़ना है कोई बात नहीं, it's my responsibility. As I've told you that you finish जो दिया जा रहा है आपको, finishing everything else is my responsibility. Okay, you must have already realized that while doing environment so far. Biodiversity में ही we have had 13-14 booklets ensuring that each and everything should get covered. ऐसे ही pollution में you'll see that we'll have excellent coverage. Then there is another report by CSA, another study by CSE. Winter pollution shows a rise in most Indian cities. Even in 2020, winter pollution saw a rise in most Indian cities, because by winter things had opened up. So winter pollution is increasing. It did a study of 99 cities, and of those 99 cities, 43 saw a rise. मतलब 2018 के कंपैरिजन में 2019 में and 2020 में there was a rise in the winter pollution, and most of this rise had taken place in non-mega cities. Mega cities की लिस्ट में सिर्फ एक कोलकाता है where this rise has taken place, but otherwise it is in non-mega cities, Gurgaon, Lucknow, Jaipur, Visakhapatnam, Agra, Navi Mumbai, Jodhpur, where this rise is taking place. There is situation of PM 2.5 ka level has improved in some cities. There are 19 cities where improvement has also taken place. One such city is Chennai. One mega city in this list is Chennai. Then it has not changed in much in other cities. For example, in cities like Delhi, PM 2.5 3 साल पहले भी इतनी खराब हालत पे था. It hasn't changed much. That is the thing here. Okay, so according to this winter CSE study, Ghaziabad is the most polluted city. If you look at least polluted city, Mysore in India, Mysuru in Karnataka is the least polluted city in terms of PM 2.5 in India. So if you want to live in a city, enjoy urban life, but not face the pollution wala issue, you should go to Mysuru. फिर सतना, मैहर, अभी सतना उतना को मैं सिटी नहीं मानता हूँ. सतना गांव है, ठीक है. कोई बोल रहा है गांव है, बट हाँ, it's a district, गांव नहीं है. It's a district. So Satna is also less polluted. Maihar is less polluted. These are the most clean cities in India. So Mysore is one such city which is very clean. Okay. Now CSE का जो ये analysis है, it is doing as part of its air pollution tracker initiative. एक prelims में question आ सकता है, air pollution tracker initiative किसका है? It is of CSE where they are doing this analysis. Now, after lockdown, the pollution has bounced back. It clearly indicates that pollution level COVID-19 की वजह से ज़्यादा impact नहीं हुआ. Plus, this bouncing back is mostly happening in smaller and upcoming cities. Bigger cities already have too high levels of pollution. Now, the pollution level increase is happening in smaller cities. So, one key recommendation which this study gives is we should focus on quicker regional reforms. Like pollution के लिए ज़्यादा चीज़ों पे focus दिल्ली में नहीं होना चाहिए. It is the smaller cities also which are emerging as major pollutants, and they should also be focused upon. So these were some reports which were there. These were some studies which were there. So today I have tried to structure the notes like this. First we'll talk about pollutants. Then we'll talk about what is the situation of pollution. So we have seen कि world में क्या situation है, India में क्या situation of pollution का. Now, what is the impact of pollution? So we have seen with every pollutant we saw that health impact ये होंगे, beautification पे impact ये होगा, biodiversity पे impact ये होगा. But in general, what are the impacts? So in mains when you will write impact of pollution, you should be able to write some consolidated things. Though the class is for preliminary examination, but you should have some general idea, some general data. So what is the impact of pollution? सबसे पहले health impact की बात करते हैं. So when we talk about health impact, according to World Air Quality Report, 7 million people die every year, or 70 lakh people die every year because of air pollution. COVID-19 से इतने लोगों की डेथ नहीं होगी जितने लोगों की डेथ एयर पोल्यूशन से हो रही है. In India, 18% of all deaths were caused by air pollution. This number would tell you that situation is actually bad. Situation needs to improve. You should have an idea here. So air pollution से mental health, Alzheimer, loss of vision. Air pollution increases vulnerability to COVID-19. Air pollution से जो mothers exposed रहती हैं, they generally give birth to underweight children, or the children are born before completing the term. Those are issues created by it. When we talk about economy mein it has again huge impact. We don't realize it, but just because of premature death and morbidity, we are losing 1.4% of the GDP. India loses 2,60,000 crore rupees only because of air pollution. जो लोग जल्दी मर जा रहे हैं. Suppose I die tomorrow. In next 30 years, I would have contributed a lot in the economy. That contribution is lost. This country has invested a lot on me, on my growth, on my education. I need to pay back to this country. That gets affected. But if you look at entire impact of air pollution, uska negative impact on agriculture, uska negative impact on pollution, on the water quality, on biodiversity and all, it leads to a loss of 7% of the GDP every year, approximately 14 lakh crore rupees. India loses every year because of air pollution. India loses around 7% of its GDP because of air pollution. So see, अब पता है, at the time of mains examination, in introduction we'll have these kind of things. ये air pollution पे क्वेश्चन, air pollution के economic impact पे क्वेश्चन लिखने को आ रहा है, या simple air pollution पे क्वेश्चन आ रहा है, introduce करना है. You know the constitutional provisions pollution से related. ये clean environment पे रहना मेरा fundamental right है. You can start there, or you can start with the fact that according to this report, India is losing 7% of its GDP or 14 lakh crore rupees every year because of air pollution. एक report का, like your first line should be like, examiner should feel, अबे इसे बहुत आता है. नहीं, you should give that impression in the very first line. You understand the impact of air pollution. With data, with report, you're talking about it randomly नहीं. कोई randomly, we lose around 5% of our GDP because of air pollution. Examiner would say, क्या बकचोदी कर रहे हो? But when you will write a report, examiner would be like, एक बार देख लेते सही भी है या नहीं. Okay, so this was one we spoke about health impact. Health impact में 70 lakh people globally, 18% of deaths in India. In 2019, 18% of India's death had taken place because of air pollution. When we are talking about economy, we are losing 7% of India's GDP, around 14 lakh crore rupees every year because of air. And here we are only talking about air pollution. अभी water pollution, soil pollution, बाकी सब नहीं आया है. Only air pollution is causing this much problem. Environmental impact, I'm not getting into the details of environmental impact because बहुत सारे हैं. तो एयर पोल्यूशन की वजह से क्लाइमेट चेंज हो रहा है, उसके जो नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट है ना. एयर पोल्यूशन की वजह से प्लांट्स की ग्रोथ हिंडर हो रही है, बाकी बायोडाइवर्सिटी सफर हो रहा है. एयर पोल्यूशन, वो हेज एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स व्हिच आर गेटिंग क्रिएटेड, दैट आल्सो रिड्यूस द यील्ड ऑफ सोलर पावर प्लांट्स. So all these are general impact, environmental impact on this thing. So you should, like when you're talking about the impacts of air pollution, you should be able to cover various dimensions. सारा हेल्थ पे फोकस नहीं रहना चाहिए, इकोनॉमी पे भी फोकस रहना चाहिए, एनवायरमेंट पे भी फोकस रहना चाहिए. When we will study it for mains examination, we'll have some other dimensions also where we would be focusing upon. Now, impact of COVID-19 lockdown on air pollution. So as we were saying, most of the pollutants reduced. This was the impact that's visible. Ozone was something that went up. You know the reason for ozone going up. We have talked about that. We have covered that. Now, air quality measurements in India. So far we have covered pollutants कौन से हैं, their positives, negatives and all. Then we talked about impact on India, impact of air pollution. Now we are coming to how air pollution is being measured. What are the different ways of measuring air pollution? So see, National Ambient Air Quality Standards. The name, look at the name carefully. It is the air quality standard. The air should not have more than this much of carbon monoxide. Air should not have more than this much of ozone. Air should not have more than this much of lead. Air must not have this much of more than this much of benzene. This standard is put by CPCB under National Ambient Air Quality Standard. So here what is important is for you to know which are the pollutants which are covered. इससे you'll understand which are the important air pollutants. So carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, PM10, PM2.5, ozone, ammonia, lead, arsenic, benzene, benzopyrene, and nickel. These are the pollutants which have been covered by this National Ambient Air Quality Standard, which is this National Ambient Air Quality Standard, which is giving us the standards for all these pollutants. So this National Ambient Air Quality Standard is by CPCB and it is covering these pollutants. That is something that you should know about. Okay, now air quality index. What is air quality index? So see, when we look at this National Ambient Air Quality Standard, it will say you should not have, for example, this says that you should not have more than 60 micrograms of PM 2.5 in the air, in 1 meter cube of air. It is what the standard says, National Ambient Air Quality Standard. But when we talk to people and say that your air quality is bad, do we tell them, bhaiya, tumhara carbon monoxide level is this much, your benzene level is this much, your PM 2.5 level is this much, your PM10 level is this much? No. We have to convey the message, not in the form of this data, but in simple form. Air quality is severely bad. So the air quality index is a mechanism that has been developed by government, by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, where we convey people in this manner कि air quality is good, air quality is satisfactory, air quality is moderate, air quality is poor, it's very poor, it's severe. So air quality index is a mechanism which Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change came up with in 2014 as part of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan to inform people about the quality of air in a simpler manner. That's air quality index. Please understand, National Ambient Air Quality Standards and Air Quality Index are two different things. उसमें standard हर एक pollutant क्या-क्या problems कितने-कितने level तक होना चाहिए. Whereas this index is only, first it is covering of 8 pollutants only, PM10, PM2.5, NO2, SO2, CO, ozone, ammonia and lead. It's only covering these 8 pollutants, and based on these 8 pollutants, it gives scores कि आपका pollution level कितना है. If your air quality index is between 0 and 50, the air quality is good. दिल्ली में नहीं मिलता आपको EQIs. दिल्ली में when you have poor air quality, you have good air quality. Like हम जब poor वाले level पे आ जाते हैं, we feel like ठीक है, अब सांस ले लेंगे. But understand what is AQI. How is it different from National Ambient Air Quality Index? What is the difference there? Please understand this here. Okay, then Sameer app. What is Sameer app? This is an app by Central Pollution Control Board where it provides hourly update on National Air Quality Index in 100 cities. NAQI, what is the Delhi ka NAQI abhi right now? Moderate hai, severe hai, kya hai? It will be provided by Sameer app. Now, you would say, sir, why is Sameer, how is Sameer app different from other apps like Air Visual app or which also gives us similar information? Sameer app mein there's one more advantage. You can file and track complaints. You can say that मेरे घर के पीछे ये garbage dumping हो रही है, या vehicular emissions or other pollution issues which are there in the area. All those things could be reported and could be tracked. That is the advantage of Sameer app. Then continuous ambient air quality monitoring system. देखो अभी National Ambient Air Quality Standards, it was the standard. Their monitoring was not happening. It was the standard where we were saying that CO level should not be more than this, ozone level should not be more than this. Now this is monitoring, continuous ambient air quality monitoring system. So CAQMS have devices which monitor ambient air quality on a real-time basis through meteorological sensors. So this installation of CAA QMS was initiated in 2014 in 17 categories of highly polluting industries and common pollution treatment facilities in India. Okay, किसी ने हाथ उठाया, लोकेश ने हाथ उठाया, लोकेश बताओ. अच्छा अच्छा, okay okay, just a second. हाँ, I'm sorry, I'll keep this in front of me. अच्छा, when I'm turning, I was getting away from mic, वो that was creating problem. अभी सही है? Okay, 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 great. Suffer. Now see, all the things that we have studied so far were under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. All the things that we had studied so far were under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. CPCB is also under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, right? So they were under CPCB or under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. SUFFER, System of Air Quality and Weather Forecasting and Research, is under Ministry of Earth Science. तो यहाँ पे भी एयर क्वालिटी पे फोकस है, but SUFFER is an initiative under Ministry of Earth Science. This you have to clearly know, you have to differentiate clearly. Now, this SUFFER, System of Air Quality and Weather Forecasting and Research. Look at the name. System of Air Quality and Weather Forecasting. What is the word here? Forecasting. तो एयर पोल्यूशन को ये फोरकास्ट भी करेगा इन कमिंग डेज what will be the level of pollution. So this is an initiative by Ministry of Earth Science. This was developed by Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology in Pune in collaboration with some other institution, and here air quality in metropolitan cities in India are measured as well as forecasted 1 to 3 days in advance. Other than air quality, you would also see weather forecasting and all those things also happen under SUFFER. But for us, यहाँ पे air quality is important. So we do not have to get into the details. Just know that SUFFER is an initiative under Ministry of Earth Science. It has been developed by Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology. It is Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology which would be focusing on weather कैसा है इंडिया का, कैसा होने वाला है. This would be happening here. Okay. Comprehensive Environment Pollution Index. Again, this is an index which was developed in 2009 by CPCB and IIT Delhi. यहाँ पे focus क्या था कि there are some identified industrial clusters. वहाँ पे pollution measure करना है. Comprehensive Environment Pollution Index. Now, look at this thing. Comprehensive environment pollution. It's not talking about air pollution. It's talking about environment pollution, which should include air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, everything. And therefore, this Comprehensive Environment Pollution Index, which was developed by IIT Delhi in collaboration with CPCB, incorporates air, water, and land pollution. In what places? In all those areas where the cluster of polluting industries are located. This is Comprehensive Environment Pollution Index. तो ये कुछ measurements थे which generally the books give some of these measurements, do not give some other. UPSC may ask any of these things throughout the year. You will, in newspaper articles, you will see SUFFER ka ye, SUFFER is saying this, or air quality index is saying this about Delhi. So UPSC may ask you a question कि air quality index क्या है? You should know that under air quality index, which are the pollutants covered. What was the purpose of air quality index? In a simple manner, sending the message, this is the pollution level right now. So these things are some things that you should know about. Then there's another initiative, AUM, AUM, which was in news in August 2020. Air Unique Quality Monitoring. Indigenous Air Unique Quality Monitoring, AUM. AUM, it is pronounced as AUM. Air Unique Quality Monitoring. अब एयर क्वालिटी मॉनिटरिंग हो सकता था, जबरदस्ती यूनिक डाला कि उसका प्रोनाउंसिएशन ओम हो जाए. ओके, नाउ व्हाट इज दिस एयर यूनिक क्वालिटी मॉनिटरिंग? डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी का एक इनिशिएटिव है, क्लीन एयर रिसर्च इनिशिएटिव. दिस क्लीन एयर रिसर्च इनिशिएटिव along with researchers in various colleges have developed this system, air quality monitoring system, where they use laser light. So basically what they do is this. When light rays go, based on what particles are there, what pollutants are there. Diffraction and all those things would happen. By this mechanism, they measure air pollution. This is by this mechanism. Light rays का जो diffraction वगैरह हो रहा है, उस mechanism से they are measuring air pollution. This is the core idea. Now here a lot of facts are there. It is an innovative application of the principle of laser backscattering, statistical mechanics, optoelectronics, artificial intelligence, machine deep learning, and Internet of Things. It can identify, classify, and quantify various pollutants simultaneously of orders of less than 1 part per billion and meteorological parameters with very high precision. It is portable, compact, low powered. तो ये device के बारे में बातें कर रहे हैं. You can all read it. I have explained you the core idea of the device. Core idea was using this new technology to measure the pollution level. Now see, all these devices which will be spread all over the country or all over a place, they'll be connected through internet. So Internet of Things का use हो रहा है. Then these devices will be collecting data. That data would be analyzed. Data mining is being used. Using that data, some estimations would be done. What is the quality today? Machine learning is being used. So a lot of use of technology is happening in this indigenous system of air quality measurement, unique air quality measurement. तो वो OHM बन जाएगा, AUM. It was in news in August 2020. Okay, so these were so far we have just completed various measurement mechanisms. So air pollutants we covered, impact of air pollution we covered. We also briefly covered what was the impact of COVID-19 on air pollution. Then we have covered the various mechanisms of measurements of air pollution. Now we will come to various institutions, programs, schemes, initiatives that we have in India to deal with air pollution. With this आपका prelims preparation हो जाएगा. Mains में हम आएंगे. What are the problems in these initiatives? What can further be done to ensure good air quality in India? So generally in preliminary examination, we understand the fundamental, we understand the steps that have been taken. So these are the steps that have been taken to ensure good quality air. So right from 1970s, 1974 में Water Pollution Act pass हुआ था. While covering Water Pollution Act, while covering national efforts to conserve biodiversity, we briefly covered Water Pollution Act in 1974, and we had said that Central Pollution Control Board (CPCB) was formed by Water Pollution Act. Water Pollution Act in 1974. So India's Central Pollution Control Board was set up to measure ambient air quality standard and is responsible for both testing air quality and assisting government in planning to meet such standard. Now, though we are saying this, there was an article in ORF which was saying this, but please note that CPCB started doing this in 1981. CPCB was created in 1974, but for water pollution purposes. Because in 1974, Water Pollution Act was passed. CPCB was given authority to work in the field of air pollution by the Air Pollution Act, which will come into play in 1981. Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981. Here CPCB will get authority to look after the air pollution situation in India also. So this act provides for prevention, control and abatement of the air pollution through boards established under this act. Central Pollution Control Board, State Pollution Control Board. Please note, these boards already existed. These acts have only empowered them to do more of work related to the field of air pollution. Okay, then these are the two things. Central Pollution Control Board hai which was formed in 1974, which looks after the pollution situation in the country. Then there is Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981, one major act, like it's almost 40-year-old act. 2021 में आ गए हम. तो आज नहीं, आज से 40 साल पहले भी air pollution had emerged as a concern and we had started taking steps. We came up with an act. Then there is Environmental Pollution Authority, Prevention and Control Authority. EPCA बोलते हैं जनरली से, एनवायरमेंट पोल्यूशन प्रिवेंशन एंड कंट्रोल अथॉरिटी. This was formed in 1998 and it has now been dissolved. तो आप यहाँ पे देखेंगे 1998 to 2020. I've added the date. It worked from 1998 to 2020. It was mandated by a Supreme Court judgment. Supreme Court, because of the high levels of pollution in National Capital Region, called for setting up of creation of this body EPCA to measure and to tackle air pollution in NCR region. So EPCA was supposed to focus on NCR region's air pollution. Now, तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने मैंडेट किया था, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एनवायरमेंट, फॉरेस्ट एंड क्लाइमेट चेंज created this body under the powers that it has under Environment Protection Act 1986. This body was supposed to protect and improve the quality of environment and prevent and control environment pollution in the NCR. It was also mandated to implement graded response action plan in NCR as per the pollution level. Now, what is this graded response action plan? We'll study about this graded response action plan. It is basically a plan where when pollution levels start increasing in Delhi in a graded manner, response also starts. When pollution level is becoming higher and higher, response also starts becoming stricter and stricter. For example, पहले बोलेंगे कि construction activities are banned, generator is banned. This kind of steps would be there. So we'll talk about graded response action plan, but the responsibility to implement graded response action plan was also with this body. Now, this EPCA, this body, by the way, this has been dissolved now. Please note this carefully. This body doesn't exist anymore. This body could take complaints either like when people are complaining, or it could also take suo motu complaint. So in last 22 years, it has achieved certain good things. For example, it had notified graded response action plan. It was responsible for implementing it. It played a very important role in early adoption of BS6. It was this body which kept on insisting that we should ignore BS5. We should directly jump onto BS6 because the problems of the pollution in NCR region is becoming worse and worse. Then it has also given suggestion for construction of regional rapid transport system. This regional rapid transport system would be connecting Delhi to various cities of Uttar Pradesh to do this, to ensure that easy transportation takes place. So these kind of things it was supposed to do. After 22 years of its functioning, this body was dissolved in October 2020. In October 2020, this body was replaced by Commission for Air Quality Management in National Capital and Adjoining Areas. एक परमानेंट कमीशन बनाया गया है, बट इसे कल एक एक्स्ट्रा क्लास लेते हैं, उसमें विल डू रेस्ट ऑफ द एयर पोल्यूशन, विल डू इट देयर. अभी टाइम हो रहा है दूसरी क्लास का यहाँ पे. ओके, तो आई विल सी यू टुमारो. अच्छा, देयर इज अ स्मॉल अनाउंसमेंट. नाउ वी आर नॉट डूइंग हिस्ट्री और मेंस पॉलिटी क्लासेस. विल बी टेकिंग 3 क्लासेस अ वीक, फ्राइडे, सैटरडे, संडे. जो प्रोग्राम का कमिटमेंट था, टारगेट प्रीलिम्स प्रोग्राम का कमिटमेंट था, एंड विल बी फिनिशिंग एज सून एज पॉसिबल द प्रिलिमिनरी एग्जामिनेशन का पूरा सिलेबस. like I do not want a single student should be complaining कि जो आपने बोला है वो करवा नहीं रहे हो और हिस्ट्री पढ़ा रहे हो और मेंस पॉलिटी पढ़ा रहे हो. So will not be doing that. Every Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be having class. Tomorrow's class is an extra class. ऐसे extra class ले लेंगे जब चीजें complete नहीं होंगी. But every Friday, Saturday, Sunday will have class. People who are really interested in studying history, people who are really interested in studying history, I'll try to finish this syllabus, end this batch as soon as possible, and then I'll start taking history for like जिसे जो भी interested होगा उसके लिए. So this week by Sunday, that is by next Sunday, I'm planning कि पूरा environment, biodiversity, climate change खत्म कर दें. तो इस तरह से खत्म करते हुए चलते हैं ताकि जो कुछ बच्चे भी हैं, 10-15% बच्चे हैं who are not happy with mains happening right now or who are not happy with history classes going on, उनके कंसर्न्स हम रिजॉल्व कर दें. बिकॉज इट्स इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर मी कि जो मैंने क्लास में प्रॉमिस किया, जो प्रोग्राम में प्रॉमिस किया है, वो पहले कर दे. उसके बाद हम जो मर्जी वो करते रहेंगे. आप जो करने को बोलोगे मैं करता रहूंगा. आप बोलोगे सर ज्योग्राफी पढ़ा दो, कुछ भी पढ़ा दो, I'll keep doing it. But first let's finish this. Okay, so with full dedication I'm trying to finish this preliminary examination वाला thing. I'll do it very quickly. पहले बहुत सारी चीजें और करनी पड़ती थी, अब वो सब नहीं करेंगे. we'll keep taking classes every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we'll finish all these stuff. Okay, chaliye, I'll see you in the next class. Tomorrow I'll try to take an extra class. Tomorrow I'll request the admin team here to provide me a classroom. अगर मिल जाता है तो I'll take an extra class, तब हम ये remaining portion of the air pollution will do.